If you think you've seen everything, think again, because some of the facts on this list will stick in your brain forever. Number 10, for example, is something most people refuse to believe actually happened. Let's begin. Number 1. Bones falling from the cliffs of Toraja. In Indonesia's Toraja region, families traditionally place wooden coffins into carved cliff niches high above the ground. Over decades, wind, rain, and sunlight slowly erode the wooden boxes until the coffins break apart and bones fall to the rocks below. The ground beneath these cliffs becomes a layered record of generations of burials shaped entirely by time. Number 2. The Green Children of Woolpit. According to medieval records, 2 children with green-tinted skin appeared in an English village in the 12th century, speaking a language no one recognized and wearing unfamiliar clothing. They claimed to have come from a place of perpetual twilight. Though their skin eventually returned to normal, their true origin and the meaning behind their strange story has never been definitively explained. Number 3. Sisters electrocuted by the same wire. In rural Thailand, a woman slipped in the mud and instinctively grabbed a low-hanging electrical line to regain her balance, a line that was still live. She died instantly. Later that same day, her sister attempted to show neighbors how the accident had happened, slipped in the exact same spot, grabbed the same wire, and died in the same way. Both tragedies occurred within hours of each other. Tragedies that repeat themselves aren't unheard of, but some mysteries don't repeat. They persist. Take this next one, for instance. Number 4. The phantom footsteps of the General Wayne Inn. For nearly 300 years, guests at the General Wayne Inn in Pennsylvania have reported the same odd phenomenon, the sound of footsteps walking right up behind them, only for no one to be there. Several witnesses described hearing boots stop inches away, followed by a sudden cold rush of air. Modern investigations found no structural quirks to explain the acoustics, and recordings have picked up unexplained knocks, voices, and footsteps with no clear origin. Number 5. The pet hippo that turned deadly. A man in South Africa spent years raising a hippo he believed had become tame after growing up under human care. But hippos remain among the most unpredictable animals alive. When flooding changed the animal's territory, it reacted with sudden aggression, dragging the man into deep water and killing him. Hippos kill more people annually than nearly all other African wildlife combined. And speaking of close calls, sometimes a person has no idea how lucky they were until they replay the footage. Number 6. Diver narrowly missed by a great white shark. A diver off the coast of South Africa reviewed footage from his helmet camera and discovered that a great white shark had risen silently behind him, passing just inches from the back of his head. The shark wasn't attacking, it was investigating. But great whites often test bite unfamiliar objects, and even a single curious bite would have been instantly fatal. Number 7. Titanic baker survived by being drunk. Charles Jowan, the Titanic's chief baker, remarkably survived the freezing Atlantic waters after the ship sank. Witnesses recalled he had been drinking heavily during the evacuation, and the alcohol in his system slowed the onset of hypothermia. He stayed afloat for hours, constantly treading water and using trapped air in his clothes for buoyancy, until he was finally rescued by a lifeboat. Some survival stories defy logic, while others simply defy explanation altogether. Let's check out this next one. Number 8. The funeral home where the dead sat up. In the 1920s, embalmers at a funeral home returned in the morning to find a corpse sitting upright on the table with its eyes partially open. A chemical error had caused the body to stiffen in a seated position during rigor mortis, creating the disturbing illusion that the dead man had risen during the night. Number 9. Exploding head syndrome. Exploding head syndrome is a harmless but terrifying sleep disorder where people hear what sounds like a deafening explosion inside their skull while drifting off to sleep. There is no pain, only an auditory hallucination caused by misfiring neurons in the brain's auditory pathways. Many sufferers describe it as a gunshot from inside the mind. Number 10. The 17-year-old who survived a 3,000-foot fall. During the breakup of a commercial airplane in midair, a 17-year-old girl was ejected from an aircraft along with debris. She landed more than half a mile away in a snow-covered forest. cushioned by branches and soft snow. Miraculously, she was found alive hours later, the sole survivor of the entire flight. From this unbelievable survival, we move on to an amazing archaeological find. Number 11. The Screaming Mummies of Egypt. Archaeologists have found Egyptian mummies buried with their jaws locked open, appearing to scream. Some show signs of poisoning, suffocation, or violent death. Theories range from ritual punishment to being buried alive, though the true cause of their contorted faces remains unknown. Number 12. The town that has burned underground. Since 1962, Centralia, Pennsylvania sits above a coal seam that caught fire in 1962 and has been burning ever since residents reported smoke rising from cracks in the ground, boiling hot air vents, and sinkholes that opened without warning. Most of the town was eventually abandoned, and the underground fire is expected to burn for several more centuries. Number 13. Dementia, night wandering with a knife. Security cameras in a suburban neighborhood recorded an elderly woman repeatedly approaching a front door at 3 in the morning while holding a kitchen knife. She wasn't attempting to break in or harm anyone. She was lost, confused, and trapped in a dementia-driven night-wandering episode, unaware of where she was or even what she was carrying. Number 14. The corpse that turned into soap. Under rare conditions, decomposing bodies undergo a process called adipocere formation, where fat tissues turn into a waxy, soap-like substance. One of the most striking modern examples was discovered inside a sealed coffin in Philadelphia, where the corpse had transformed into a near-perfect anatomical statue made of human fat. Number 15. The lake that killed an entire village in minutes. In 1986, Lake Nyos in Cameroon suddenly released a massive cloud of carbon dioxide that had been trapped beneath the water's surface. The invisible gas rolled across nearby valleys, suffocating more than 1,700 people and thousands of animals in minutes. Entire villages were found silent and intact, as if frozen in time, with no visible injuries. Natural disasters can strike without warning, and sometimes change the entire world. The next one did just that. Number 16. The volcano that turned day into night. When Mount Tambora erupted in 1815, the blast sent ash high into the stratosphere, blocking sunlight around the globe. The following year became known as the Year Without a Summer, with snowstorms in June, failed crops, mass famine, and worldwide climate chaos, all triggered by a single volcanic explosion. Number 17. Boy stung 432 times. In Florida, a 2-year-old boy accidentally stepped on a massive underground yellow jacket nest, triggering a swarm attack that delivered more than 400 stings in just minutes. Instead of rushing him to the hospital, his parents attempted home treatment due to religious beliefs. By the time he reached medical care, the venom had already caused catastrophic organ failure, one of the highest known sting counts ever recorded in a child. Number 18. Auschwitz boxer fought to stay alive. During his imprisonment in Auschwitz, Jewish boxer Salomo Arouch was forced to fight fellow prisoners for the entertainment of SS guards. The matches were brutal and fought on bare concrete. The rules were simple. The winner lived, and the loser was executed. Over 2 years, Arouch survived more than 200 fights, not by choice, but because defeat meant immediate death. Number 19. Atomic bomb cataracts. Some survivors of the Hiroshima blast developed a unique form of cataract known today as atomic cataracts. The intense radiation damaged the lenses of their eyes in sharply bordered patterns, unlike any natural cataracts seen before or since. These clouded patches remain one of the clearest biological signatures of exposure to the flash of a nuclear explosion. Number 20. Guide dog Roselle, leading through the North Tower. During the 9/11 attacks, a guide dog named Roselle led her blind owner and several co-workers down 78 smoke-filled floors of the North Tower. The building shuddered with every impact, and the stairwell was jammed with panicked evacuees. Roselle kept a steady, controlled pace the entire time, stopping only once to comfort a woman frozen in fear, before guiding the group outside just minutes before the building collapsed. The next story shows survival of a different kind, survival through sheer willpower. Number 21. The surgeon who operated on himself in Antarctica. In 1961, A Russian surgeon stationed at an isolated Antarctic research post developed acute appendicitis. With no other medical professionals nearby, armed with only local anesthetic, a mirror, and trembling hands, he performed his own appendectomy while lying on his back. The procedure lasted nearly 2 hours, but he survived, making it one of the most extraordinary acts of medical self-preservation ever recorded. Number 22. Self-mummifying monks of Japan. Certain Buddhist monks in Japan practiced sokushinbutsu, a grueling ritual where they gradually mummified themselves while still alive. Through years of consuming bark, roots, and resin, combined with deliberate dehydration, they removed fat and moisture from their bodies until they became inhospitable to bacteria. After death, some remained naturally preserved for centuries without embalming. Number 23. The lake that traps bodies for decades. Nevada's Lake Mead has dropped so far in recent years that bodies long hidden by water have begun resurfacing. Some are drowning victims. Others are believed to be from unsolved mob hits from the mid-20th century. The reservoir had preserved them in cold, low-oxygen conditions, turning it into an accidental time capsule of violent crime. Number 24. The man who lived with bears until one killed him. A wildlife enthusiast spent years living among grizzly bears in remote Alaska, convinced that his familiarity with them erased the natural boundary between humans and predators. One season, food shortages made the bears more aggressive. A starving male bear attacked him and his partner at night, and an audio recording captured the entire encounter, including his final pleas. Rangers later identified the bear responsible and found the man's remains nearby. Number 25. The Dancing Plague of 1518. In the summer of 1518, residents of Strasbourg witnessed dozens of people spontaneously begin dancing in the streets, unable to stop. They danced for days, collapsing from exhaustion and dehydration. Contemporary reports say some dancers died from strokes or heart attacks brought on by non-stop movement. Historians still debate whether the event was caused by ergot fungus poisoning or mass psychogenic illness. Number 26. The parasite that eats and replaces a fish's tongue. Cymothoa exigua is a tiny crustacean that enters a fish's mouth, clamps onto its tongue, and drains its blood supply until the tongue withers away. The parasite then attaches itself in the tongue's place and functions as a living replacement. The fish continues eating as normal, effectively using the parasite as if it were its own tongue. And that's it. 26 morbid facts you'll never be able to unhear. If you want more morbid fact videos like these, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one.